Is that like packaging foam in there? What?
I have never seen that. And
what?
That almost looks like rodents.
How do you live in there?
Oh, they were making a home in your car.
No.
Hey,
What's up, guys? David here once again. I'm back at VMP Performance.
Absolutely. Here
with
we
Mr.
are.
Mike. Met you last year.
Yes.
It was a great time. We made Smurf really fast.
Yeah,
that was
really
ridiculous. And I even scared Justin a little bit, which was great. Point of the matter is, this car has been so good to me so far. The 10-speed is a really fun platform. It can be a little complicated.
Can be, yes.
But when it comes to near stock form, it's pretty cool.
Very cool, and a lot of potential.
Lots of potential. It's great, especially if you want to do big power drag racing later.
Yes.
But we're not going to do that quite yet. Today, I'm basically doing essentially an R&D session with you guys.
Yeah, basic bolt-ons to see what kind of power we get out of the car with your average consumer's parts that
Normal people.
Normal people's parts.
Yeah.
People that can afford to put these things on their car,
right,
and see what kind of gains we get.
Well, the great thing about the Coyote is my experience with it has been nothing but positive.
Absolutely.
And even with my 13, I did bolt-ons and made over 400 wheel horsepower with pump gas.
And now these are that new platform. So
right, so we're gonna see the difference. We might have some drivetrain loss because it's an auto and some stuff like that. So I'm not really sure what to expect, but what are we putting on today?
We are going to do a ported intake manifold and a JLT 120 and a custom tune.
Sweet. All right, you know what? You guys know what we're doing. Let's just do it.
Let's do it.
All right. First step, pop the hood. It's already done. All right, great. Now,
second step, read for 20 minutes.
Yeah, so the computer in the 18 is, I gotta get rid of this, but the computer in the 18 is pretty complicated, but it's pretty great later once it's unlocked and you can do all the really cool stuff with it. And you pretty much don't need a standalone one of these cars until much later. Much later. Pretty much like 1200 plus. So anything under, I think you're gonna be okay. So take this Star Trek Enterprise looking
now we can put this back on if you really want us to.
Yeah, why not?
Got some pop caps here. There's some 10mm bolts under here, and they come off.
Oh, is it really?
We're gonna need, yeah, we get, these are not like your 11 to 17s. We're gonna have to get some tools for this, so.
Okay.
Let's do that.
So the 2018 Mustang typically ranges from about 395 wheel horsepower to about 410 wheel horsepower. So if we can get over that number today, then we've accomplished something. I'm excited. But basically, I've left this stock probably the longest of any powertrain I've ever owned, and so far it's been magnificent. But you know, I love taking this thing up to the mountains, so I'm really excited to see what just a little bit extra punch does up in the mountains. Even though horsepower isn't that important up there, the good thing is that being all motor still, it won't be an unbalanced mess like Smurf is now in the mountains. Everywhere else though, it's awesome. Oh wow, Mike, they're deep in there, aren't they?
They are, that's why I brought that deep
Thank you, sir. As I'm fishing for this bolt, oh, I got it. Nut, excuse me. Mike is still on the computer because it takes that long to unlock. How long did it take to do a S197?
Oh, it reads in about 2.5 minutes.
That's what I thought. It's snug though. Oh, it goes in between the actual manifold? That's interesting. Yeah, so this cover is much different than the 1314 because it didn't have these ridges in here. That's why I was a little confused. That's why it's also so snug. Got the Enterprise. Mr. Mike,
yes.
What's the first step?
The first step is we're gonna remove the stock cold air. Get everything unplugged, get it out of the way, remove all the stock air box and everything.
Which is massive.
Which is gigantic. Flows well, but not as well as the JLT 120. And then we are going to rip that manifold out of there and get a ported 18 manifold in.
Yeah, pretty weird that you can CNC plastic.
It is pretty cool, and it looks really good too.
It was so funny, the first thing I ever did to a car was a cold air on my 2 valve. I felt like I actually did something. You know, like, oh my God. What's the next step, Mike?
The next step is unbolt the manifold and get it out of there. I am going to remove the fuel rail, but I'm just going to lift it up and lay it to the side. That way, you know, a lot of people, they don't have these quick disconnect tools. So for your average consumer, it's easier to quick disconnect over here and just lay it up over here.
Right.
Easy peasy. Ah, we're slowing down a little bit now.
There we go. There she is. Do you know what size throttle body this is factory? It's pretty beefy.
I want to say they are like 80 or 82 millimeter.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. That's why a lot of guys like to go to the GT350 throttle body. It's
right.
87, but we actually recommend against it.
Is it just too much almost?
Drivability issues that arise from it.
Yeah.
Literally a swap that anyone can do in their driveway, garage, parking lot.
Yeah, yeah. It's like the blower install last year is completely doable in the garage, but it does take a technical skill for sure.
It does, absolutely.
At least the S550s are plug and play, you know,
exactly.
unlike the S197s.
Now we just have to get to these clips in the back.
Yeah, because the harness is on there, right?
The harness does clip to the back of the manifold. Yeah, basically you're gonna try to get into the back here and feel around. And sometimes you can get it from underneath. This is just a pry tool you can get at
anywhere, yeah. It's like a push pin tool, essentially.
Exactly.
Yeah. Is that like packaging foam in there? What?
I have never seen that. And
what?
That almost looks like rodents.
How do you live in there?
Because that looks like housing insulation.
Oh, they were making a home in your car.
No.
Well, we haven't found the culprit. I think he might be back at home.
Oh, man. This is what happens when you buy a used car. Things live in your motor, literally. Bam, just like that. All right, exterminator. Here I am thinking Mike should be like, oh yes, this is heat insulation that Ford uses for
this is OEM Ford
OEM housing insulation. Yet, okay, I'm not even mad. That's incredible.
You're lucky because a lot of times they chew this black,
Right.
They chew this up and then take it down inside there.
Wow,
So you got lucky on that one.
that's for sure. Everything looks clean though. That was good. I actually think that happened when it was up in North Carolina because
That
up in the
sounds
mountains,
right,
yeah, definitely.
We have guys that keep their cars on lifts, under covers, inside garages, and they're like, that's not from my house, there's no way. They will find a way.
Justin, would you mind explaining the differences between these two manifolds we have here?
So we have a Brett Barber Airflow Solutions CNC ported 18 intake manifold. And then we have a generic, bro, I ported the intake manifold for you. Give me 400 bucks.
Right.
And the difference when you actually go and look at it is incredible. This smoothness goes all the way down as far as the eye can see. And then over here, it looks kind of like somebody got it to bubblegum texture and just kind of rubbed it up. And you can actually see a huge lip down there.
And you can physically see these chunks right here. Not good. Yeah, here's a better demonstration though, like really seeing the texture in here.
Yeah, it's not smooth at all. This is the inlet of the properly ported 18 intake manifold.
Look at the difference. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. This is the end result of proper porting from our preferred partner, Brett Barber at Airflow Solutions. And this is what's going on your car, David.
Let's do it.
All the gaskets are in there.
Let's just start it right now. It'll go fine.
It's funny, I've done that before and they won't actually run for very long.
No.
It is not happy, I can promise. Basically push those harnesses back into the manifold without tearing the gaskets, because that's a common problem we see in a lot of these swaps. Is you're still dealing with rubber gaskets, so you gotta be somewhat gentle with it. Your tuner is gonna be upset.
You upset? I will say though, it's cool that these parts come with gaskets built in though. Unlike a lot of older cars, you have to be very careful when you lay out an intake manifold and putting the gasket on there.
It's cost effective enough for Ford to just provide new gaskets when you get the manifold.
To give you perspective, I did the Boss 302 manifold install by myself years ago, and I would say, Mike, it's about the same process. It's way more simplistic, but the process itself, taking out the injectors, stuff like that, it's all the same. Very easy.
They do, so you can hear your Mustang.
Oh, is that the how it funnels in?
Yeah, it kind of funnels in some of the intake noise, so you get the experience in the cab.
It's like they did with the BMW i8. I don't know if you heard about that.
No.
It was a 3-cylinder turbo, and all of the sound came out of the radio speakers, pretty much.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. Such shock. So one really neat thing about the 2018 and above Mustangs is E85 is actually fairly simple to do.
There's no fuel system upgrades required because the car already has 16 injectors stock.
It's ridiculous.
Due to the DI, PI, direct injection, and port injection. So E85 is like natural and super easy. There's plenty of fuel system.
I think it's a really easy thing to understand because typically when you go E85, there's a little bit of work involved.
Yeah, you usually want to do bigger injectors if you have an older Coyote, an 11 to 17.
But but the flex fuel can be built into the software, and then you don't ever have to blink an eye ever again.
We're going to be tuning David's car with HP tuners, and we're going to be loading the new VMP Flex Fuel tune into the car. And we're going to be doing everything 93 today because that's what David drove down on.
Yeah,
but
we'll worry about that later. But you can shoot me over that tune whenever, and then.
Well, we're gonna go ahead and put that tune in there.
Okay.
And you're just gonna grab that yellow handle at the pump that says E85.
Not even worry about it. You don't have to reflash it.
No.
You don't have to do anything because it's not like the old days where you had to pull over. I want E85 right now. Plug it in.
We used to get the calls. How many miles to empty should I be? How do I get the last gallon out of there? And I'm just like, okay, as long as you're filling up with 15 gallons, it's okay. But no, not anymore. The tune is set up to detect the ethanol level, calibrate for it, add more timing, everything else. And the thing about E85, even on a pretty much stock, naturally aspirated Coyote, it makes another 10 to 15 rear wheel horsepower.
That's so stupid. Another thing too is, with me doing car reviews over the years, there's been so many instances where with older project cars, they take the road trip and they don't have a flex fuel sensor and they get stranded and they wonder what happened. But that's because they had to individually install an actual flex fuel sensor. So like, for example, on my 240, I would have to do a flex fuel sensor. But with this, don't have to worry about it. It's amazing.
And the Coyote ECU has wide bands, it has plenty of fuel system, so we're able to do that all with the native hardware, all through software, through our custom tuning.
Exactly what it looks like. Cold air intake, JLT. Thankfully, cold airs on Mustangs actually do something. It's not just a placebo effect. You have to do a tune in order to get the effectiveness out of it, and that's what this man's for.
He's tuning your car though.
Okay, you tuned it last time.
I tuned it last time.
Yeah, you tuned Smurf last time, but new blood over here. So this is this massive heat shield.
So it goes into the factory location, and it does have a tube in here that connects to the factory front air feed, if you will, to keep cool air coming in.
Goes through here, and then hits right there.
And then comes right into the air filter. Obviously, you don't want ram air coming right across the air filter.
Right.
You just want it feeding.
By the way, guys, as Mike puts this on, you do have to swap over the factory MAF. And it's just the two little screws right here.
Yeah.
And it goes right into the side. Piece of cake. You don't have to cut anything.
And there is an arrow on it.
Yeah,
so
it'll tell you which way to install it to show where the airflow is going. Because it is very easy to think you need to install it the other way by accident.
Yes, it is.
Because it looks identical. There's no way to look at it.
And you have to actually try to install it backwards.
Right.
The bolts will go in, but you'll end up stripping them out. Huge pet peeve of mine is, for looks, just point that down.
Oh, because of the silver.
It's where they assemble the filter together. Aesthetically, it's just so much more pleasing.
Well, yeah, next time I visit Mike, I'm gonna make sure to flip it over just for
I will know.
And honestly, guys, just make sure that your hose clamps are on properly. I know that sounds like such a little thing, but it's super easy to overlook, and it's typically good just to have a little bit.
It is, and the good thing about these JLTs especially is, they have a molded seat for the clamp.
Right.
Just like they have a molded seat to where like you want to make sure the air filter's pushed all the way on. They've really made it foolproof on this.
Some other intakes though, they won't have that. And you'll clamp it on, it'll feel tight, but it might not be on the actual pipe enough.
Or the filter itself isn't on straight. And it can be a tuning nightmare with the airflow. It'll disturb that airflow and...
Because maybe the bottom is leaking, their top is leaking, or, you know, it's just one thing after another. So my best advice when it comes to installing something like this, like I just said, hose clamps, hose clamps, hose clamps. Because do not panic if you go for a test drive and something doesn't feel right.
Yes.
Don't panic if you go for a test drive and it feels like it goes into limp mode. I've done it, it sucks. It's scary because you think you blew your motor or something over an intake.
Yep, pop the hood, double check everything.
Yeah.
It's really the best way to go about it.
And then pictures, pictures, pictures.
Yes,
pictures.
many pictures.
Pictures, send into your tutor. You do everything in the reverse order. Install the air. Is that what I think it is?
It is a rooster.
That's a rooster. And I got distracted. All right, Mike, what's next?
Next, I build a base file. We get it loaded into the car so that we can actually drive it over to the dyno. Then we get it strapped down and we see what numbers we can get out of it.
I absolutely love my Cervini's grills, but man, look at this. It just catches every single leaf. Hey Mike.
What's up?
If my buddy says he can tune my car for cheaper, what should I say?
You should contact an actual tuner. Now that depends. If your buddy is a reputable tuner, then by all means.
Nice save. Okay, on our first dyno pull, we made 436 wheel horsepower on 93 pump gas, and I'm actually very satisfied even with that number. I'm not sure how much more we're gonna be able to squeeze out, but like I said, even with that number, I'm pretty satisfied. In comparison, Smurf, my 2013 Mustang GT, when it was bolt-ons, no catalytic converters with an X pipe, along with an intake, a Boss manifold, a throttle body, all of that made 420 to 425 wheel horsepower depending on the dyno I was on. But this still has the factory catalytic converters and has even less mods than Smurf did, and it already made 436 wheel horsepower. That's pretty cool. Almost 440 wheel horsepower through an automatic transmission as well instead of a manual. Second dyno pull made 441. Now on to the next one. So, as you can see, I got a smile on my face. It made 456 wheel horsepower with just these upgrades. The amount of effort I've had to do with other project cars to get to this point, unbelievable. I could not be happier, and I'll get some footage to prove the number, but wow. What an amazing time that we live in, that we can do such minor mods and make this much horsepower through a 10-speed transmission. Justin, I'm happy. I'm really happy because I've said it like 5 times this video, but what time do we live in? I mean, just minor things that took less than an hour to install. Hey guys, I was gonna do driving impressions after this video once I got back home to Georgia, but unfortunately where I live, we are on full quarantine and we're supposed to stay home. But I do have to say that VMP did an amazing job. Huge thanks to VMP and also HP Tuners for helping me tune this bad boy. It feels like $1,000,000. It's everything I ever wanted from just bolt-ons. It's obnoxious. Also, a little sneak peek, I got new tires for the Integra to fix that terrible fitment issue, and also I had wheels coming, but they're on back order now because of the situation we're in. Plus, it's allergy season, and I can barely go outside anyway because the pollen is so bad and all the cars are yellow, so it's pretty much good for me to stay inside. I'm just trying to be optimistic here. But as a car YouTuber, it's gonna be pretty difficult. Thankfully, I have some pre-recorded content, so all content coming out in the next about 2 weeks or so is pre-recorded, so don't think I'm out and about. Thankfully, I was able to film a lot of car reviews down in Florida during that time at VMP. So other than car reviews, now that I'm stuck at home for a while, we don't know how long this is gonna be for you and me. What kind of content would you like to see out of me as I'm here at home? Do you want to see more Judged by That Dude in Blue? Do you want to see more content like that? At this point, we're all in this together. I want you all to stay safe, all stay home if you're needing to, and God bless anybody who is sick right now. I wish you the best. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I upload every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, and I will see you guys next time, and take it easy. Have a wonderful day.